Let's talk about tariffs. US President Donald Trump, in fact, extended a trade truce with China, stabilizing economic ties between the two superpowers for another 90 days. In fact, this executive order was signed just hours before tariffs on Beijing was set to jump back to those sky-high levels. And during trade talks last month, you did have negotiators, in fact, failing to resolve broader sticking points on issues the likes of rare earths. Technology export controls also was something that made it to the agenda, and there was largely no consensus on these things. So it's very important that this deadline has been pushed now until November 10th. In fact, in another tariff-related twist, you do have Trump also confirming that he's going to be allowing NVIDIA to sell its H20 chip to China for a revenue cut in exchange. So that's also something that's important to note. But as you can see on your screens, it was largely a losing day on Wall Street. So when you take a look at the Dow, that's the one that fell 0.5% thereabout. S&P 500, 0.2% fall coming in there. And even the tech-heavy Nasdaq, that's the one that erased earlier gains to drop about 0.3% thereabout. Let's quickly take a look at the levels as far as Asia then is concerned. Japan's Nikkei, in fact, is the one that's hit a record high. And that's also leading gains at this point in time. So when you take a look at Japan's Nikkei, that's up 2.5%. And that's coming back after a day of a holiday very strongly. Other than that, there's a Hang Seng that's largely tepid, just hanging on to a shade of red mildly at this point in time. Other than that, there's, of course, Shanghai that's also holding on to a tinge of green as we speak, 0.2% uptick coming in for the Shanghai as well. But on that note, let's take a very quick look at the US futures as well. Largely not much that they're doing at this point in time, just Dow that's holding on to a tinge of green as you can see on your screens, and S&P 500 and Nasdaq futures holding on to a tinge of red as we speak. Meanwhile, let's also talk about oil and gold, because you do have oil that was little changed after President Donald Trump, US President Donald Trump, extended that pause of sky-high tariffs like we told you earlier. In fact, this is very important because it's stabilizing trade ties between the world's two biggest economies. Oil is down more than 10% though. So that's largely the trend, and it's holding on to that trend this year as traders also grapple with a surplus in the market. So that's broadly the setup as far as oil is concerned. Quick look at gold as well, because you do have President Donald Trump saying that gold will not be facing tariffs, knocking down a ruling by US customs officials that bars of the precious metal imported from Switzerland would be facing duties. So that's an important statement coming in, a very important clarification, in fact, that the market was waiting by for. But gold not doing all that much, steady as we speak.